In this episode, we're going to talk about 8 fun and practical ways to make this the best summer yet. Every summer comes, and it's easy to say, this is the summer, we're going to slow down, we're going to take the trip, we're going to do the thing. But for whatever reason, it doesn't always happen. So let's dive into it today. But first, what's going on, Megan? How are we doing?
I'm good. How's it going?
Great. It's good to see you. You just got back from your fun trip. We're going to catch up about that in a second. But today we're talking about summer. We're here. It's finally here.
I'm so excited. It's like nice outside and it makes you want to be outside.
If you are not a Fargo Moorhead member, it's not a membership. It's just like you live here.
Yeah.
We've had like 85, 90 degree days. And I feel like this was a slow climb into summer. We had some like 40 degree days within the last 2 weeks. Yeah. So this feels amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It makes me like want to be outside. I'm like going on walks more. I just feel like I'm a better person when it's like nice outside.
I do think that there's a lot of reality. I'm literally like, sun is good for you. We know that. We know that.
Yeah.
But we live in a place that doesn't happen very often. So summer is a big deal. And it really is. And I'm curious, like when you think of summer, just childhood Megan, like what stands out about summers for Megan?
Okay, well for us, we were like a camping family. That was what summer was.
Tent or camper?
Either, but camper mostly. But yeah, it was like every weekend we're going somewhere. And my dad's a very adventurous person. Like he's a memory making person. And so he's just like any chance to do something, he's going to do it. And so we didn't spend a lot of time at home. It was like we're going camping, we're going four-wheeling, we're doing this, and which was really fun. And so I feel like my summers, like I grew up in a campground.
So you campground and activity. Like yours was full of activity.
Yeah, that's until so like high school, then it was like sports, Then it was like a turning point of now I'm busy all the time. For sure. But
I know for me, like baseball obviously took up a big part of summer. Summer for me, those 3 months was, we practiced daily and we had games multiple times a week and stuff, which I loved. And so that's a part of what I love about summer is baseball. And like, I just have such great memories of being at the field with my friends. Like we would leave, it was kind of like modern Sandlot in a way, because we would ride our bikes when we were a little bit younger. We'd ride our bikes to like one of the water park. We all had season passes to Raging Rivers.
Whoa.
It had back in the day, the OGs would remember, like they have a lazy river, but it was the Raging River. So they had like waves. And then as you get older in Bismarck and you get cars, you go to the river. And then you just like float on the river and hang out at sandbars. And so I just have like really fun memories of summer in Bismarck, North Dakota. But do you have like a favorite family vacation you ever took? Ooh. Like summer vacation. It can't be a winter. It has to be summer.
Okay. Well, I can't remember how old I was, maybe 13. And one of my cousins, she lived in Nevada with her fiance, and so they were getting married. So we road tripped across the country to California, and like we drove all the way through. Road tripped. So all the states, and
you didn't teleport part of the way?
No. Okay. But then we went. We just made it like a whole 2-week long trip. So then we went to California, we went to the Hollywood sign, like all that stuff, walked on like the Star Boulevard, all that, and then went to Texas and did Six Flags, and then came back up. So, and again, it was my dad, so he was like, if we're gonna go all the way out there, we're gonna do it,
do it right.
And so, which he did it right. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but that's probably like the most memorable vacation I feel like I have.
Do you have like a go-to road trip snack?
My dad would always would always buy like bite-sized licorice.
Okay.
So for me, that's like nostalgic.
So just like the little, once
like,
you pop, the fun don't stop.
Precisely.
That's Pringles, but
and like you down a whole bag in like a mile. So that is like nostalgic for me. That's probably what I would get at a gas station.
What about beverage?
Coke.
Just a Coke.
Just a Coke.
Just a simple girl.
That's all I ask.
That's
licorice
awesome.
and Coke. Okay, what about for you? Summer vacation?
We were drivers. We drove to a bunch of different places. We did Seattle twice, and we did Colorado. And we did the Black Hills in South Dakota quite a bit. That was like 6 hours from Bismarck, and so I feel like that's the most like common one. I remember that one many times. But Colorado, we went ziplining, we went whitewater rafting, and it was my first time doing those things. The only thing is that I actually had a broken leg at the time. I think that was that trip. That might have been Wyoming. We did Wyoming too, but I just remember having a broken leg. It was in recovery still while we were whitewater rafting, and so it was just a little like nerve-wracking doing that. Right. But that, for me, that trip stands out. And my road trip snacks are kind of anything and everything, but definitely candy bars, Kit Kat, Snickers, and Butterfinger, my go-tos. And then I'm a strawberries and cream Dr. Pepper.
Ew.
Have you ever had it?
No.
Don't knock it until you try it. Dr. Pepper is on a legendary run right now.
Yeah.
And this is a known fact. They have like the cream one. They've got a coconut cream that Taylor loves. Mm-hmm. Their flavors are on point right now. So
you're branching out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in you that you just said ew without even having ever tried it.
I'm just a Coke girl.
That's true. That's true.
Is the Black Hills the one where you can drive through and like animals will come up to your car? Is that the Black Hills?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
That would be like Yellowstone Glacier. I mean, maybe a little bit, but I don't remember that.
I just feel like there's a vacation my family took before my brother and I were born, and it was like one of those where like animals come into your car and you roll
into your car.
Well, like you roll down your window and you have food and they like stick their heads in and eat. And to this day, it's like the infamous trip. And I thought it was the Black Hills, but like whole family.
It could be. That wasn't our experience at the Black Hills.
Okay, yeah.
Usually we camped. And it's like, that's Mount Rushmore. And there's some good hiking and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm realizing now how much intentionality that it does take to make summer memorable for kids, but also for anybody. Like, it does sneak up on you and drift so fast. So I'm excited to have this conversation, but we do have to do our celebration anticipation first, because this is a key part of not only the podcast, but of living a life of everyday adventure to the fullest, is making sure we take time to celebrate and anticipate. So what are you celebrating right now?
Okay, right now, I just got back from my trip to California, and I went to the Bob Goff Writers Retreat.
Yep.
And so I've just been like sitting in it, I feel like, for the last week, and it was incredible. I feel like a different person coming back, which is a lot to say on a retreat, but they just spoke into a lot of giftings that I want to have, or like callings that I want to have on my life, or confidence to do it. And I'm just grateful. I feel like my biggest takeaway is that it's doable. Like any dream, like for the most part.
If you can dream it, you can do it. Is that what you took away?
No. kind of, but like if you have a dream, like figure out a way to make it bite-sized and start tackling it, because like the whole thing is all about a book, and a book feels really daunting, and everyone's like, that's so much work. But they were just able to break it down to like the word count a day of how much you could write a day to be done in 100 days. And it was like, oh, I could do that, you know? I could do that.
That's
so
awesome.
I feel like I just walked away being like, okay, you can do it, and it just takes some discipline and some work and accountability. So
Very cool.
I had the best time.
You also found you texted me pro tip.
Yeah.
What was your pro tip for the Bob Goff Writing Retreat?
My pro tip was be the last to leave, so you get 45 minutes of uninterrupted time with like your people. Like all I wanted was one-on-one time with Bob and Maria Goff, and I didn't get it until the last day.
Yeah.
And everyone else wants their time as well, rightfully so.
For sure.
And so I'm not one to like assert myself very often. And so anyway, the retreat was supposed to be done at 10:30, and it was 9:30, and they were like, all right, that's all we have. So everyone starts getting in their cars and going to the airport. That's awesome. And I was like, well, I paid for another hour, you know, like I have every right to still be on the property. And so I asked one of the workers, I said, any chance you know where Bob and Maria are? And they're like, they're sitting over there. So for sure, I'm sure at the end of their retreat, they want to debrief and relax, but I went and sat on the couch.
Megan.
It's
Not
like,
on Megan's watch.
I have more to say. I have more to ask questions, and it was so fun. And I sent you a picture, and I was like, I've peaked in life, actually. This is it for me.
It was a cool picture. It was awesome. That's fun. So fun.
Mm-hmm. Are you celebrating anything too?
Yeah. Taylor and I just celebrated our 11-year anniversary. We went to Winnipeg, good old Canada. We got the kids little Canadian flags, and Rowan came out of his room yesterday singing "Oh Canada."
He was singing it this morning.
Oh, nice.
When I got here.
Amazing. And so we had fun. We went to that Thermea spa, which is a big deal up there, and it was awesome. Like I'm a big sauna steam room guy. Like that's my workout regimen. But it was a beautiful day. It was like 75 and sunny, and so it wasn't overly hot, but you could be outside the whole day. And so it was fun. We just did the sauna and then the cold plunge, and then like we did their cycle that they do. They have a ton of like lounge areas. We took naps. It was a really good day. And also it created a lot of space for us to really kind of say, okay, what's the summer going to look like? And we started working on a summer bucket list. We did some things about looking forward to the summer because we actually had the space. Like it was just me and Taylor. There was no kids. There was no interruptions. It's funny. We did run into people we knew. Shout out Christian and Autumn. It's always, no matter where we've gone in the country, we run into somebody we know, or in a different country. But
and it was no phones.
Yeah, no phones. The signs that were around the property were disconnect to reconnect, and that couldn't be more true because it was really a time where I was able to reconnect with Taylor in a way. I was able to reconnect with God. I was able to reconnect with my own soul, and so it was awesome. It was awesome. But anticipation, it's an easy one for me, and I think it's shared. But looking forward to Slow Down Saturday, and we won't get into it. But I've been looking forward to this. Last night, we stood at the whiteboard and kind of actually like, all right, we had the rough outline of the content, but now what's it gonna look like? And so I'm just pumped about this weekend. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. It's going to be so fun. I'm excited. It's something that we're passionate about. But we're going to talk about summer, too.
Yeah.
As part of the event. But also, we were like, it really starts... Like, there's a way to make your summer so fun as well. You know? Sure. Like, I think some people get in the mindset, too, of like... Well, especially, I think, girls, too, of like, I want to look a certain way. So when I'm on... So then you get, like, really into your health journey and everything leading up to summer. And then you realize that you, like, worked your way through summer instead of, like, enjoying it.
Right. For sure. Yeah. Intentions without action. Intentions without a plan, without, putting in the work. It's just going to live in intention land. And so even though we talk so much about intentionality, like, our real message is intentionality with action and with a plan. And so today though, we're going to talk about 8 ways to make this the best summer yet. And before we do that though, I think we need to dive into some of the things that prevent us from that. Because I think if we just sit at this place of like, what makes summer awesome and do these things that make summer awesome, we can go in again with those intentions. But what I've realized is that when I can lay out the pitfalls and understand what's going to prevent me from making the most of the summer, it allows me to actually plan around those. It allows me to become aware of those, to make a plan to respond to those. So what are some of the roadblocks that you think people could run into?
Yeah, well, one is just distraction. You get caught up doing other things and don't give it the intentionality. Like you said, your attention gets pulled in many directions and you never enjoy what you're actually in. And then also lack of planning and intentionality. So great summers rarely happen by accident. Goals don't get hit just because you set them. And so I think just like a basic planning and distraction.
I think, again, what I come back to is without that plan, it rarely happens. So you can have this big desire, but it just is really hard to, okay, now what does that look like on Tuesday? What does that look like this week in particular? Another one is lack of priorities. I think another big roadblock is just not determining what matters most. And so then everything matters the most. We want this to be the best family summer. We want to grow in our friendships. We want to achieve our health goals. And not that you can't work on multiple areas simultaneously, but without really setting the priority, we just kind of aim at everything. What's another one?
Yeah. One I added to the list was the lack of boundaries, because this is my pitfall every summer. I'm like the queen of, I don't have a free weekend until the end of July right now.
Whoa.
Yikes. I'm nervous.
This episode is for Megan.
Yeah, no, seriously. But I don't have boundaries with things. I think with summer I get so excited and I want to make all the plans and do everything and visit all my family. And so I say yes to everything. And it's not that everything is bad. Like, it's all good things. Right. And so just a lack of boundaries and kind of the priorities too, of like what's most important for the end of the summer too.
For sure. I think part of it for me, something that I reflected on, was a lack of support. Like, if I just go into it internally going, this is gonna be the best summer ever, I'm gonna do all these things, but I don't communicate those to Taylor, and we don't have a good conversation about, okay, what's this gonna look like, or thinking about health goals, or thinking about friendship. For me, it's like I need to communicate those things and actually build a community around the summer that I desire. And so lack of support. But what's one more kind of roadblock we could think about?
And then the last one is like poor habits. So you just are already kind of in a rut, and so you fall to the level of your habits. And so if your habits are bad, you're just like, it's going to be harder. Your rhythms are going to be harder to get out of.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm curious, those of you listening today, like, what's one of these that stood out to you? What's one of these pitfalls, roadblocks that you think you need to be most prepared for? And again, you can look at all of them and you can kind of evaluate through all of them, but usually one jumps out. You said boundaries. For me, I don't know if it's the priorities one or the distraction one. I think really when I honed in on this summer and I just asked myself, what would prevent this summer from being the best it can be? I looked at the disconnect to reconnect sign. I'm like, I think it's that. Like, I think what's making this day so meaningful is because I'm not pulled. I'm not checking Instagram. I'm not thinking about work. I'm not wondering who texted me. Or, I was wondering maybe, but I had to deal with that,
Right.
And so I think that's, for me, one of the biggest roadblocks. So once we kind of move past the roadblocks and at least start to think about them, what we want to share is 8 ways to make the most of the summer, to make this the best summer yet. And you're actually going to hear some of these are communicating directly to some of those roadblocks. Yeah. So some of these ways to make this the best summer yet is actually being proactive against the roadblock. So give us the first one. Number one,
define the win. So what do you want the summer to be? What would be a win when you look back at the end of the summer that would say, that was the best summer ever? Yeah. So if you've ever heard of the word of the year, give your summer a word or a phrase. What do you hope to be true of this season by August?
Yeah, and so that could be adventure. It could be fun. It could be growth. There's different things that when you really boil it down, what would make this summer great? And I think I've had multiple answers to this over the years. Even though I didn't do this for the first 32 years of my life at all, I would have still said, when I was in college, I remember there being a year where I was committed to staying in Fargo. I was leading a group. I just finished my sophomore year of college, and I really wanted to grow my spiritual life. I really wanted. Every summer in the past, it faded, and so I would really grow during the school year, and even in high school, and then summer it was just disengage and stop reading my Bible, stop, additional prayer time. My friendship rhythms changed, and we centered it on fun, which is great. But I really wanted that summer, that particular year, to be a year of spiritual growth. And so, I think that's an important thing to define. Do you know, kind of, as you're thinking about this summer, kind of what you're hoping for? What would make this summer great for Megan?
The first thing that came to my mind was learn to say no. I just say yes so much, but I think
sounds super fun.
Yeah, sounds great. I think for me, I think I've always hyperfixated on growth in the summer because I feel like I have more time, so I'm reading all these books and I'm doing all these things. So in like a polite way, I think I need to tell myself to chill out this summer. Like enjoy it. And just
summer of enjoyment.
Summer of enjoyment.
Love
just
that.
like don't take yourself too seriously and try to do it all in the summer.
That's good. That's good. What's number 2?
Number 2, make a summer bucket list.
Yes.
I'm so excited about this one.
I just feel like, again, I've never been opposed to the bucket list idea. I think in some circles, bucket lists can get a bad rap, and I do think that we can swing them to being self-centered and just kind of like all about thrills, all about doing big things, but I just think that these can be really meaningful. And I think it was Mark Batterson who wrote about, I don't think he called it his bucket list, but he really wrote about these life accomplishments that he wanted to achieve in his life, but they were all centered on relationship. They were all centered on some sort of spiritual. So there was hard things, there was trips, but there was a meaning attached. It was a trip with a daughter. It was a trip with a son. And so I think the idea of a summer bucket list is like, okay, now there's 3 months and you don't want to do 100 things, but to really get intentional about what would make this summer great. And so there's attitudes and there's other things that go into that question, but there are activities. And so I think when I think about a summer bucket list, I'm not only thinking of trips, places, things to do, I'm also thinking of smaller things. It's like a picnic in a park, sit in a hammock. Like if those things are automatic and you're going to do it within the next 24 hours, it's not a bucket list item. But if you have to actually require intentionality to do it, do that. So what are some other ideas for a summer bucket list?
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton. You can get as intentional or specific as you want, but bonfire with friends or going to a baseball game, road trip or an outdoor movie. Last year, my friends and I went to like a high school theater that was outside. They performed Mamma Mia, and we're like, this was the best. It was so fun.
It was like Glendon or Dilworth, right?
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And so we want to do that again. So there's just like, there's the memories that you can make with your friends, mini golfing, sunrise coffee. Do you have any that you are like wanting to prioritize this summer?
Yeah, we kind of honed in on 3 because I think, again, we're going to have a big list. We're actually going to take a night or a day with our kids and make it fun, make a big poster that we see every day. But the 3 that we really stuck out were going camping. We've never camped with all the kids, so we want to do that. We want to do a vacation. We just haven't done like a true family vacation, and so we have one planned for late August, and then the other one is just one-on-ones with the kids. So we've kind of started to talk about what one-on-one would I do with Rowan and Kinsley and Summit. And so those are some of the main ones. There's smaller ones, and then there's also personal ones too, but those are kind of the ones at the center right now. But let's go to number 3, because I think we've kind of defined the win summer bucket list. So what's another way that we can make this the best summer yet?
Yeah, so next it's define the big rocks. So what are the big things that are going to take a little bit more intentionality? It's not just going to a new coffee shop one free right. morning, but it's like the family trip or doing your date nights or friend hangouts. Like schedule in those things that are going to be a little bit harder to find time for.
It's not even just defining it, it's scheduling it.
Yeah.
It's if you, and this is, big rocks too are the weddings that we have to go to. And so what we've done is we've laid out everything that's required of us for the summer, and we put those on there. I'm officiating weddings. I'm speaking at 2 weeks of camp. Like there's some big blocks of our summer that are just taken. And so in our past, what would be easy to do is let the vacation, the camping trips. And so now that's what we're scheduling. We're like, these are happening. We are scheduling big rocks. That means we're scheduling lake weekends, because again, lake weekends for us is kind of like the default. If we're available, let's go to the lake. But we really want to actually be proactive and say like, no, we have these lake weekends built into the calendar. That could be things with friends. That could be things with family, visiting family. That could be, even something that is really important to me is taking time to really think about the next season. So one of the big things I'm going to schedule is kind of my fall planning, my fall kind of, sit down and reevaluate and see where I'm at and do the same thing for another season. So those are some big ones. Which leads us to number 4, and that's revisit your rhythms. So you schedule your big rocks, but another way to make this the best summer yet is to revisit your rhythms. Something that has really stuck out to me is new seasons demand new rhythms. Every new season I've entered in, I cannot carry over the same rhythms. When I worked at the church and I had this routine and rhythm, that routine and rhythm went away. And I came home and it's like, well, what is time with Jesus going to look like? What will reading for fun look like? What will people engagement in this office all day? But what does that look like? And so really establishing a new rhythm that fits the season. Why is this so important in the summer?
Well, I think that one, summer gets away from us so fast, but also I think sometimes it's easy to like fall into bad habits like we were talking about. And so you're just kind of a little bit, I don't know, I'm lazier in the summer. I'm just like, let's go lay on a boat,
Which is great.
Yeah. But there's still other things that you still want to have happen. You still want to spend time with Jesus. You still want to do date nights. You still want to do X, Y, Z. And so those are all rhythms. And we've talked about that in so many other seasons, and summer isn't like separate from that, it's just another time to pause. How have my rhythms been going for like the last couple months, and are they helping, or are they hurting, and what can I do to improve them?
Well, I think when you have your win of the summer, when you have your bucket list, when you have those big rocks, it's like, okay, now what daily things, weekly things are required to make those things happen? And I actually push against something you said, because you're like, I can be lazier in the summer. I think that's a rhythm that is healthy to actually create. Like, there are things that just, when right now our kids are in school still. This is their last week as we're recording this. There's importance of getting up earlier. There's importance of getting them out the door, and those are rhythms that are important for that season, where we are now re-engaging of like, what's it going to look like to get a little extra sleep? What's it going to look like to have slower mornings, that it isn't this rush to breakfast rush, so there is a rhythm to slowing down too. So just throwing that out there.
Saying.
Just say that. But yeah, I think these rhythms can be involving sleep, movement, time with God, family dinners, quiet, morning routines, anything like that. Again, that helps you do and make this summer what you feel like it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Number 5 is just a big one for me. Well, I'm going to go back. Number 5 is become a tourist in your own town. This is just a quick one, but I think one of the best ways to maximize the summer is traveling costs money. Going to new places costs money. What can you do in your town that you've never done before? And, I love posing this as the simple question. If you were visiting your town for the first time, what would you do? And this doesn't have to be a daily, like every night you're like eating at a new restaurant. This is like, take a weekend and make it, put yourself in the place of a tourist, and you are showing up in your city, and you are going to make the most of this. We were just in Winnipeg. We ate at places that we wouldn't normally eat at in Fargo. We saw things. We Googled things of like what to do in this area, and it led us to doing things that we wouldn't have stumbled upon. And so we get so into rhythms and ruts even when it comes to our where we live. So this is a way to kind of make the most of that.
Yeah, I think that's so good. When I was just on my trip last week, I was sitting on a beach, and I'm a tourist on the beach,
Yeah.
But I'm watching people like walk a dog or walk with their families, and I was just thinking, like, I wonder how many people are local, versus a tourist that's just coming to kill some time on the beach and sit by the ocean. And it just made me realize, like, this is some people's like normal life,
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we forget that like we just take it for granted because it's just our normal life. Like,
Right.
of course I go walk on the beach by the ocean every day, like with my dog, and I like am having the best time. But for me, I'm like, this is incredible. Like,
Right.
I'm not going to get to do this again for a long time. So if you can find a way to like, I don't know, see it from a different lens, it can really make you appreciate, I think, your town too.
For sure.
Yeah. Next is turn off your phone. So
this is the one I said this is a big one for me.
Yeah, this is same. And I think like it goes back to that distraction piece that you spoke to, but I mean, we'll scroll forever, you know? And I think we can spend so much time getting sucked into being distracted on a device or watching movies or whatever it is. And in healthy rhythms, it's okay, but there's also a time that's healthy to take a break and to, you know, put the screen time limits or to completely delete social media for a time. Or I had a friend one summer, she deleted social media every week and she would get it back on Saturday. And that was her only day she could have it. And then she'd delete it on Sunday. And that was just a good summer rhythm. Check it once a week and then it's out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, I just, again, we're just like really, we've honed in on this one of like what would ruin our summer, you know, subtly. I don't think we would reflect, I don't think it would be obvious in the moment, but it would be that we just spend too much time scrolling, too much time on screens. And so not just turn off phones, but not that we won't have screen time, you know, with our kids. I work from home. Like we need a little bit of a reprieve there. But I just think like we got a brick and we haven't really started using it yet. So now it's like, okay, this summer we're gonna use that. We're gonna really, and actually we got an extra one and we're gonna give it away. So listening today, check out the show notes because there's gonna be some instructions and it'll be on my social media at Stephen Glosser on Instagram that will give some instructions of how you can actually win a brick because I really want to give a tool that can help somebody else, you know, really hone in on this summer and make it meaningful. So what's number 7?
Well, yeah, I was going to go back to that for a second, but there's also so many other ways to like turn off your phone without like social media. But there's like, you know, charge your phone out of your room or no phones at meal times, like make no phone zones in your house. And I think that also will play a huge part into
for sure.
Like healthy and perspective and all of that stuff. But anyway, okay, number 7 is gather your people. So do this with people. Like we said, schedule the friend hangouts and the family trips and all of that, but also ask people, like invite people into your bucket list. Like, are there things that you can cross off together, or is there something that you've both wanted to do? And really make this a summer where you prioritize your people and that are in your life and taking advantage of them.
Right.
In a nice way.
We're not gonna take advantage of people, Megan. No, but seriously, I've been reading so much on friendship and relationships and connection, and what is fascinating is that there's so much scientific study behind the power of relationships and the power of friendship. And so not only like gather people because it's more fun, but it's actually more healthy. Like there's research backing on satisfaction at work, satisfaction in life is often tied. One of the biggest factors is the people that you're around. And so summer, again, it's not magical, but it's an opportunity to hone in on the people that you love the most and say, okay, I'm going to make it a priority to be with them more often and to be with them more than I am right now. And that brings us to our last one. Number 8 is to leave room for margin. And all of this stuff is really difficult if there's no margin in our lives. There's no room for, you know, again, we get about 12 to 15 opportunities to do water activities in Fargo Moorhead. It's like, if you get that invite on a Friday, you want to have the margin to say yes, to go to the lake, to do those things. And so I just think it's so important, not only in the weekly rhythms, but in like the daily rhythms, to have some margin. Don't overschedule your Saturdays. Don't overschedule your evenings, you know, that every night. So if you're hearing like, man, I've got to have this super tight, you know, plan for margin, like that is something that is huge, is spontaneous or intentional spontaneity. It's like, it's planned to be responsive, that I can do what I want in those moments. I can respond to what I want. I can, have a few books that I'm ready to read if it's just a reading night, but like have the margin to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that kind of foreshadows a little bit into Slow Down Saturday, which is like the whole purpose is to slow down so that you can make this the best summer ever, so that you can get to the end of the summer and not feel like you missed it. And
for sure.
And so tell us a little bit, like, what's the heart behind Slow Down Saturday? What do you hope to like that people get walking away from it?
I think what I've gathered just in my own life, but also from other people that I talk to, is that a lot of what we just talked about is stuff that everybody wants. I don't think anybody just listened to that episode and they're like, not for me. I don't want to have fun this summer. I don't want to have more meaningful relationships. I don't want to. But the reality is that most people will never slow down long enough to actually do it, and to actually put it on paper, to actually take a calendar, plug in those big rocks, actually define that priority and say, okay, now what will the rest of the summer look like as that being the priority? And so Slow Down Saturday is just the curated space to do that. And this is something that I've been doing. So we're going to guide you through it. We're going to give you tools. In the workbook, there's actually going to be a full summer calendar that you can actually look at your whole summer on one sheet of paper. There's going to be a summer bucket list. We're just trying to give as many resources and tools to actually do this. And then the space. Again, if we just gave you all the tools, which I could do today, and I'm going to link a few of these tools, the summer bucket list, so you can get started on it. But I could give you all the tools, but if you don't create the space, so we're going to give you 3 hours that we are going to do this together. We're going to talk about it. We're going to brush off, just like I did with Megan, of like, it's okay to be lazy. It's okay to have lazy time in the summer. We're going to actually give each other permission in those moments. So I'm just excited, not only for the content, but for the space, because I really do think that it is the biggest thing that prevents people. And so really wanting this to be something that anybody that wants to really now take this and say, okay, well, what does this look like? We're going to do that together. And so I'm pumped about it.
That's awesome. Where can someone go to learn more or register or sign up?
Yeah, there's going to be a link in the notes, but they can go to my website, stevenglosser.com/slow-down-Saturday or /events. It'll all get you there. But that's where you can learn more and register. It is June 6th. So if you're listening the week of this episode coming out, it's this weekend. It's this Saturday. So make sure you sign up as soon as humanly possible.
Amazing.
Yeah. And like I said, we're going to have fun with this too. And we've got a couple baristas. I don't think that's supposed to be like that accent, but baristas there. So we're going to make some lattes and custom coffee. We just want to make this fun time, that it's not just going to be 3 hours of straight reflection. There's going to be some opportunity for engagement, for conversation, and also for just that community aspect of it.
Yeah.
I'm pumped.
It's going to be so fun. Before we wrap up the episode completely, what's our challenge for this week?
Yeah, Everyday Adventure Challenge. This week is Summer Bucket List. We want you to make your summer bucket list. And so we want you to take that time to actually sit down and think about some of the things, big and little, that you want to do this summer. Things and activities and places that would make this summer the best one yet. And so we've got something in the show notes for you to help you kind of do this. If you go to stevenglosser.com/summer-bucket list, it's in there. You'll figure it out. You can actually take that and it'll really help you kind of get started on this. But we would love to hear from people. I know there's people in our Everyday Adventure or broadcast channel on Instagram that we would love to hear in that. That's the place that we've designed to share these things. So the way these challenges ideally work is that a group of people does them and then we share about them. And so what I would love is if people would say, hey, here's 2 or 3 things that are on my summer bucket list, so that we can cheer each other on, so we can encourage one another, so we can pull ideas from one another. So do that in the broadcast channel. If you're not in there, it's in the show notes and in my bio.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. It's going to be the best summer ever.
Best summer ever. It is. I don't even just say that in a cliche way. Like, I really do believe that. And sure, I'll say it again next year. But I believe that as you pursue intentionality, as you pursue like these questions that a lot of us don't stop to think about, of like, what would make this summer great? It can be. It can be great. So I'm pumped.
All that's playing in my head right now is the Phineas and Ferb theme song. There's 104 days of summer vacation and school comes around just to end it.
Do you know I've never watched that show?
I could sing the whole theme song right now. That's my fun fact about myself.
We see, something that comes to my mind right now is the song School's Out for the Summer, because we had a teacher band at our high school, and on the last day of school in the cafeteria, they would perform. They would do like a full concert, and then that was always the last song.
What?
Yeah. They were like a pretty legit band. Like, they didn't sound bad. But it was a very fun way to end the school year. Every year was them performing School's Out for the Summer.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and like part of that song is like bashing teachers, and they're literally saying it, because they're kind of like, we're done with school.
Yeah.
And they were just leaning into it. So it was super fun. But we hope this episode helped you think differently about this summer. And if it did, we encourage you to send it to somebody. Send it to somebody that you want to do this with, somebody that you want to encourage to really make the most of their summer. And if you don't already, subscribe to the podcast. We'd love to have you get the notifications every time we release a new episode, which is every Monday if you haven't picked up on that trend. But we love you. We're so grateful for you. Have a great week and keep adventuring.